All right, training topic for today. First long form YouTube video. I'm hoping to get a bunch more of these come in probably about once a week. But today we're talking about structuring training when you don't have tons of time. If you're like me, you're a busy athlete, you've got maybe 45 minutes in the gym, a couple days a week. You don't have time for an hour and 20-minute lifts 5 days a week. So how can we go about structuring training that we still get the most out of our training without spending tons of time there? And the best way that I've found is to kind of block your training. So for me, I want to be strong, I want to be fast, I want to feel good and be healthy. And if I can look good while I do it, that's an added bonus. So I take my 30-minute workout and then I block it into 10-minute sections covering each of those goals. So I want to move well and be healthy, I want to be fast, and I want to be powerful, and then I want to be pretty strong while I do it. So that first 10-minute block for me is going to be movement exploration, and that changes day to day. Today, I'm just doing some mobility flows, so I've got a plate. A med ball would work just as fine, but I'm going to use it and just kind of explore mobility, do a whole bunch of different stuff. The big rule here is that I don't have any rules. So I want to open my spine, I want to open my hips, I want to open up my shoulders, but I'm just going to kind of move based on how I'm feeling today. And that might be different every time I do this drill. So I don't put rules on it. I don't put myself into a box. I just kind of move, get myself limbered up and feeling good. And this serves a couple different purposes. Number one, it's going to warm me up. So I don't spend time warming up usually. I just do things like this. I call this like the athlete block, where I'm exploring movement and trying a whole bunch of different athletic things. So for today, it's a little bit of mobility work like this. Next time I'm in the gym, it's going to be a little more gymnastic based. I'm doing things like handstands, I'm doing cartwheels, flips, stuff like that, kind of exploring movement in that way. And then another time I talk about it a lot, I'm going to do box parkour, where I'm exploring actions that are a little more plyometric in nature, and I'm really trying to be fast and powerful in ways that I don't always do. So it's going to give me that large movement library I talk about all the time. But today, mobility flow, no rules, 10 minutes on the clock. It's going to get me warmed up, it's going to get me loose, it's going to get me exploring end range of motion as much as I can, which is kind of the goal of this. So chill, watch, I'll put some music on. I'm just going to go through this mobility flow with you. Notice sometimes I might spend some extra time doing stuff. I typically do things for like 5 to 8 reps, depending on what I'm feeling. But right there where you saw where I'm trying to get end range with my thoracic spine open and stretch out my neck while I do it, spent a little bit extra time there. I'm probably do a couple more sets of that because it's feeling tight today. So there's no rules. Like I said, we're just moving on. When I find a sticking point in an area I want to work on, I spend some time there. That's it. So like I said, the other thing, the main focus of today is to explore movement with kind of like a mobility flow style, but that might change week to week as well. So today I'm kind of focusing on rotation, opening up as much distally as I can, keeping that plate out far from my center of mass, try to open myself up as I'm rotating, but sometimes it might be a little bit more hip focused, it might be a little bit more shoulder focused. The box parkour or other like gymnastics kind of stuff I do. Maybe I'm focusing a little bit more on speed, a little bit more on power sometimes. It changes week to week. I program it kind of based on how I'm feeling, things I feel like I need to work on. I take a look at my golf game. If I feel like my golf game's lacking something or other, I might throw that in here. But that's kind of it for the mobility flow. This is what we work on. So we went over athlete block. So this is going to be block 2. Like I said, my 3 big goals for training: move well, be healthy, be fast, be powerful, be strong, right? Those are the 3 things I want to accomplish. So we checked 1 box off, 10 minutes on the clock, mobility, flow. Like I said, it changes day to day. But what we're going to do now is kind of our speed and power block. This is things like your sprints, your jumps, your throws, your Olympic lifts. I typically program in here. And what I will do is I will superset 2 of those things. So when we talk about principles-led approach, we want to be fast and we want to be powerful. We just need to find exercises that do those things. So typically what I'll do is, like you're about to see, I'm going to run some sprints, and then I will do that with either a jump, some kind of throw. On another day of my training, I will do an Olympic lift, and that is going to be paired with some kind of upper body plyometric. And then a third day might be like some kind of bound, another kind of like maybe longer sprint where I'm a little bit more elastic. And that'll be paired with something as well, like a med ball throw, where I'm using rotation or something overhead. And that's going to check all of our boxes of like fast and powerful. We're sprinting, we're jumping, we're cutting, we're throwing, we're lifting heavy and explosive. And that's going to be that block there. So again, ideally just about 10 minutes, typically somewhere between like 3 and 5 sets. A great way to do that would be, every 2 minutes you're starting a new set. You're going to do your superset as rested. So I'm going to run a sprint right now. When I feel like I'm ready to do my broad jumps, which is what I have programmed for today, I'm going to do them. I'm going to rest until the 2 minutes is up, and I'm going to repeat 5 sets. Gives me 10 minutes, nice and easy. So while we're on the topic of structuring workouts, one of the things that I like to talk about when we're training like an athlete, we want to make sure that we're exposing ourselves to a large variety of stimulus. So our main lifts don't change because we follow the specific adaptations to impose demands, the SAID principle. We need exposure to those. So our main lifts, when we do stuff like strength training, not a whole lot of variety. But when we do our athletic things like mobility flows, gymnastics, parkour, sprints, jumps, throws, we change them day to day, week to week, rep to rep, and we give ourselves a lot of exposure to a lot of different stuff. And that's how you're going to always be prepared for anything that you might need to tackle. If I always ran sprints from 2-point start and I was playing, pick up hoops and I had to cut and change directions and start sprinting, I'm not going to be necessarily ready for that like I would be if I expose myself to all kinds of different movement patterns and sprinting out of different positions. So what I like to do, the way I like to check that box, is just variability rep to rep. So you saw I just did a rep where I was from a push-up start, I had to explode out and sprint, and now we're just going to change that up a little bit, run a different rep. The idea is still to sprint 10 yards as fast as I can. Just the way we're starting it and the way we're getting into that sprint's a little bit different. Expose me to a little bit different stimulus. All right, so we are through our athlete block and we are through our speed and power block. Those are important things to me, important qualities to train. Like I said, if you are training to just be good at the things you enjoy doing in your life, if you're training to complement your life, not training just to train, those things I think are non-negotiable. The movement capacity, the ability to try new things, experience new things, and learn your body, give yourself a large movement library so that when you face a challenge in real life, you're able to tackle it head on. And then the sprinting, the speed and the power stuff, to me, it's fun. I enjoy doing it. I'm going to always have it in my program. It took me about 24 minutes to get all that done, but that's just because I was setting up my camera. I was talking, typically 10 minutes each block, right on cue. I did 4 sets of sprints. I did the walk back, did my broad jumps, rested about 2 minutes, did it again. Perfect. Got a lot of work in about 10 minutes. We're moving on to strength training. So today is my squat day. When you're training for 30 minutes, if you only have 30 minutes to train, the strength training, I think, is the one thing where you really have to make some compromises. So you have to look at exercise selection a little bit differently, rather than saying, I got to hinge, I got to push, I got to squat, I got to do unilateral work, all these things. You got to just pick one. Today, squat, pressing strength. That's it. That's my focus. Oftentimes I will program squat your choice. You basically can just pick a squat variation that you like, because at the end of the day, we can't be picky. It doesn't matter all that much if I'm front squatting, if I'm back squatting, if I do a Zercher, whatever. Typically 3 sets, 3 big sets, heavy sets. I'm already warm. I don't need to do a ton of warm-up sets. We're going to be shooting for about an RP 8 today, which you'll see in a second here. And then we're going to hit some unilateral accessory work. The other thing I like to do a lot with my strength work is this is where supersetting becomes really handy because you can fit a whole bunch of things in less time. So with my front squat superset, I'm gonna get in a little bit of extra rotational core work. It's not going to take away from my front squatting, but it's going to check a box that I'm not getting anywhere else in my training, which is that rotational strength training capacity. The unilateral leg work, we're just going to hit 2 sets of it and we're going to get out. Just that alone, we might do like a little bit of hip work or something like that, and that's going to be our lower body day. That's going to be it. The big thing has to stay the big thing when you don't have much time to strength train. So for us, that's the front squat, and then we're going to hit a little bit of unilateral hinge work just to kind of even it out a little bit, and then we're going to be done. It's going to take 5 total sets, just about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but there's your half an hour. You got your athlete block, you got your speed and power block, you've got your strength block, which is only focusing on the big things. Like I said, if you have only 30 minutes, 40 minutes to train, you need to start making compromises somewhere. And for us, that's going to be on the big, heavy strength training. We don't do a ton of hypertrophy accessory work just because you're getting it when you do your strength training. So kick back, watch me do some front squats, and enjoy. Side note, I am in my school's backup gym, essentially. We have 1 rack, we have 1 bar, and very, very, very few plates. So if you see some wonky weight loading, that's why. Enjoy. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today. Training done. I gotta get showered and get a client in here in a few minutes. So that I'm gonna wrap this video up. If you liked this longer form style content, please let me know. Subscribe, like, give me a follow on Instagram or a shout out. Let me know that you like this style of content so that I'll keep making it. Also, if you aren't on my email list yet, I do have an email list. You're gonna get a weekly newsletter that kind of has tips and tricks and things like this that kind of a little bit longer form, gives you my thought process behind some training. And then there's also going to be a massive pre-sale coming out soon for a program that is coming out soon called Always Ready. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's this style of training that's going to help guide you through any kind of competition or anything you want out of your life. If you're a hiker, a climber, a runner, you just want to be strong in the weight room, you want to drop some weight, you want to look good, this program is a very general kind of guide to athletic training. It's going to be easily delivered to you through an app, and you're going to get a ton of goodies with it. There's a nutrition guide, walks you step by step through how to gain or lose weight on the program. And then there's also going to be a how to use guide, how to customize it if you only have 3 days a week, if you've got 5, if you've got 30 minutes, if you've got 60. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be detailed in that. And like I said, there's just going to be a huge pre-sale coming out in the next month or so here on my email list. So make sure you subscribe to that. This program that's going to be dropping is an 8-week program. If you are somebody who wants to be always ready for anything, this is the program for you. Make sure you check it out. All right, guys, talk to you later.